Hey everybody, welcome back. This is a 2-minute tip here on this Tuesday, and hopefully this tip will start to get you to think or help you to think in a more procedural manner. And a very popular effect is the disintegration effect, or maybe a fire effect, using the infection solver that's given to us called the Pyro Source Spread. I called it an infection solver because that's basically what's happening is you have a point here looking to the points next to each other and looking for a parameter before it triggers an effect. Currently, I have the total burn visualized. We have some values that are increasing, and then you'll have some values that are still 0. And a lot of students will then run this, and you'll see on a million points here, it is quite slow. And also, one thing you need to understand, got attributes here that you really don't even need to care about. One way to think is to remove yourself from time, and you can create a map here with data that's already pre-generated, creating a heat map. So let me show you guys how that works. So I'm just going to drop a time shift, and I'm going to go all the way. We'll just let this play out for right now while I talk, and you'll see how heavy it is. It can't even keep these frames cached. That's how much data your computer is trying to process. So I'm going to let this go all the way out to pretty much where I don't see any more purple. But you're probably thinking to yourself, oh man, this is too slow. You're already at 10 seconds long. My effect is, it's just a second. Well, you're not worried about the time here. In fact, we're actually going to work independent from the time using a time independent cache. And so what I'll do is I will then delete this channel here, and we'll be frozen on frame 227 now. And we can convert this total burn attribute. You can see we have 2.2, and then we have 185.45. So let's create a new attribute here. We'll call this attribute wrangle. F at heat equals channel ramp heat map, and then we're gonna take that total burn. So we'll say fit at total burn, and let's take that low number first. So I'll just highlight here, and we'll say 2.2, and then the high number will be 18.45. So we'll say 2.2 to 185.45, and we'll fit that 0 to 1. Close that up. Promote that parameter, and we'll create a new visualizer here, a color one, and we'll do that heat. And if I go to ramped attribute, we'll do min max 0 to 1, and let's do an infrared here so you can see it better. We actually now have a map that we can use to run attributes through. For instance, let me show you this now. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. And we'll say attribute wrangle. Let's go ahead and initialize the color. We'll say at cd equals set 0 0, and then we'll say if at heat is less than channel float thresh at cd equals set 0 1 0, which will be green, and we'll promote that up, and you'll see what happens now is I have a heat map. Now it's going in reverse. I want it to go the other way, so what you could do is say greater than, and then you could start from 1 and just start to drag that down. And by the way, look how I'm not even cached yet, right? Because we're using a time shift here. But we could cache out this heat map after the fact, and now I can run any attribute I want over it relatively fast.